What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're back with some more Entitled People. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell, as it helps our small channel out so much. And with that being said, let's get straight into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Echo Monroe. You need to reschedule your cousin's death 2 weeks in advance. So I recently watched Mark Narrations read a similar story in a video and decided to share my own. I don't talk about this particular incident much as it really upsets me. Also, I'm on mobile. So I used to work in a chain hair salon, let's call them Good Snips, a few years back. 2017 was a rough year for me that started with losing my cousin. He was like a brother to me, and I still haven't recovered from that loss. He had a long battle with addiction that unfortunately he just couldn't kick. My family got the call one night that he had passed away, and we were just torn. I missed the next day of work, and when I came back I explained that his memorial was going to be in a few days. My GM, general manager, told me that I need to schedule all time off 2 weeks in advance. My manager told me I shouldn't be so upset and realised that my cousin was the lucky one because he didn't have to continue to live in the current state of unease. The day of his memorial, they made me work and made me stay late. I was an hour late to my cousin's memorial service because I was told if I left I would be fired. My mother was waiting outside continuously looking at me trying to get me to leave. My uncle was blowing up my phone and threatened to show up to my salon and give my manager a piece of his mind. Neither of them offered my condolences for my loss. They just told me I needed to smile for the customers and suck it up. When I told them I had to go, my GM told me that she could hold me as long as she needed me, and that if she needed me to miss his memorial, she would hold me for that long. My mum couldn't wait much longer and came in and told my GM if she didn't let me leave, she was going to contact a lawyer for harassment. Needless to say, she let me leave. My aunt and uncle held up starting the memorial until my mother and I were there. I didn't work there much longer after though for an unrelated reason. I was in a car accident and can no longer cut hair as a result. First of all, thank you very much for the shout out. I wasn't expecting my name to be in that post. I don't pre-read posts, I read them as I go. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa. Thank you very much for that. And oh my God, there's just no compassion with that job. I can't believe they would act so cold towards you. To say that the cousin was the lucky one because of the current state of unease. There's something really wrong with that person to think like that. I think if I was in that situation, I'd call them out on social media and just say, look, this is what this person said to me, and then watch their reviews bomb. Thank you so much, Echo Monroe, and I'm sorry for your loss. Our next story is from Zuby Mom. I got a Karen to apologise. Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry this is a tad long, but I think about this incident every time I hear a Karen story and felt it was high time I posted it. This happened a couple of years ago, and at the time, I didn't know what a Karen was. Luckily our paths crossed at an unnerving time for me, so I wasn't having any of her shit. I had to make my way to an appointment, but I first needed to stop by the postal annex to mail out important documents for my fiancée. As I was walking towards the door, I see this elderly woman trying to hold open the door while rolling in a dolly full of packages. I held open the door for her. At this point, I figured I'd have to make myself comfortable standing in line because she had so many packages to mail out. As it turned out, she worked there. It was surprising to me because this woman couldn't have been any younger than 70 years old, but she acted older. I chalked it up to expensive living in the Bay Area. Unless you have a few dozen golden eggs that you're sitting on, there's no way you're going to retire. So given her age and demeanour, she worked at a very slow pace. No big deal, I already told myself to get comfortable standing in line. She was helping the woman in front of me when all of a sudden Karen walks in. Middle-aged woman running around in yoga pants, one of those vest thingies you'd wear on a hike, big sunglasses and medium length clearly dyed blonde hair thrown up in an I'm important ponytail. Everything she was wearing was very nice, so it's clear she had money. After all, this postal annex just happened to be in one of the richer cities in the Bay Area. I didn't think anything of it at first, but after about 5 minutes of her standing in line, she just bolts past me and goes straight to the counter. She tosses a package on the counter next to the woman who is clearly being helped, and without saying, excuse me, she just starts telling the employee she needs this mailed out, here's the address, I'll be back in a bit to pay. Then she leaves without giving the employee the chance to decline. I was livid. How dare she interrupt another customer, then go to treat an employee like a servant. However, there was nothing I could do about it. She was gone, and I'd most likely be gone before she came back. The woman in front of me also happened to be much older in age, so between her and the employee, things were going slow. Not a problem because I was too busy thinking about my appointment and worrying about what the doctor was going to say to me. First it was a tumour, now it was 2, now it's 4. Am I going to survive surgery? Do I have cancer? Will I be able to have kids after? Or do they have to remove my uterus? Some of the tumours are fused to other organs. Will they be able to remove them without harm or anything else? I was having an internal meltdown. I didn't even notice 10 more minutes had passed. Then it was finally my turn. I was about 2 minutes in when a man came strolling in. He went to the part of the counter that deals with receiving, from what I could tell. Since this woman was the only employee at the time, he would have to wait. He just propped himself against the counter and played with his phone. 5 more minutes have passed and I'm starting to realise it's getting close to my appointment time. I'm still being patient. The employee is having a hard time operating the computer system. She just kept apologising. It was clear she felt overwhelmed with using it. I told her no problem, take her time. Although not ideal, I could reschedule my appointment. I didn't want her to feel rushed or like she was doing anything wrong. Whatever assurance I gave her flew out the window the moment Karen came back. She made her way to the line and blurted out, "You still haven't gotten my package." Oh, okay, I was pissed. What a bitch. Though I decided not to say anything unless she continued to be a bitchy bitch. Of course she did. She started huffing constantly with a hint of wine. After a couple of minutes of her doing so, I had enough. I turned around and said, "Look, we're moving as fast as we can. You need to be patient. I'm actually in a rush. I need to be at a very crucial doctor's appointment. Yet I'm still standing here being patient. Be patient." Karen was a little taken back, but she still decided to speak. "But I'm always patient." Me, in a calm yet strict tone, tossing a package at an employee, telling her to mail it out so you can leave, probably to rain hell on some other employee somewhere, come back and complain that she hasn't gotten to your package yet, and then huff and puff in line like a child is not being patient. If you were always patient, we wouldn't be having this conversation now, would we? She looked like she got slapped in the face with a reality stick. She meekly said sorry and shut up the rest of the time while waiting. After I had finished, I thanked the lady for helping me, turned to Karen and smiled and told her to have a good day. She said you too and good luck with your appointment. I thanked her and left. A part of me wanted to stay to make sure that the man at the end of the counter who had been patiently waiting was going to be served next. I really hoped he was and that Karen didn't pull that shit of "I was here first," even though she left and had gone for about 15 to 20 minutes. For the record, no cancer, safely removed all tumours, other organs have a little scar tissue, and I was able to have a kid. Just gave birth to a baby girl, although I was in labour for 2 days because of the surgery, but aside from that, all went well. Well, first off, I've got to say congratulations to you for having a child and no cancer, of course. That's absolutely amazing news. So good to hear good news these days, you know? Secondly, fair play to you for sorting a Karen out and making her a little more humble. Ah, yes. I'd love to see your face when she said sorry or how you reacted. I bet you was like, what the hell? Thank you very, very much for your story. And our next story is from Curious Lettuce. My mum demands to have everything, including me and my siblings. My dad wanted to divorce my mum because they just aren't getting along. My dad has gotten very depressed and stressed because my mum is demanding and always wants sex. She actually forced him to go to the same doctor she had so she would get intel on everything he told the doctor. She told him that something was wrong with him and he should give her sex even if he doesn't want to. You see, my mum is an extreme feminist and also an extreme entitled bitch. She thinks that because she is a woman that she gets to boss my dad around, but I don't agree with that and neither does my dad. The day my dad told my mum that he wanted a divorce, she quite literally threw a fit. She didn't go to work, she played the victim. If she did go to work, she would come home in the middle of the day. I stood up for my dad one time because my mum said that she should be paying attention to her and not teaching karate, which was the main thing that was keeping us stable. I argued with her, and one of her friends beside her said, "Well, you're going to be a more forgiving wife. No men can have hobbies as well as you can." What the fuck? This was all going on in the middle of them trying to get a divorce. My mum constantly told her friends that she was going to get the kids and my dad wasn't. As soon as I heard this, I hatched a plan. This is going to sound bitchy. I tried my hardest to convince my 7-year-old brother to choose my dad rather than my mum, and I tried my hardest to convince my 13-year-old sister as well. I would be scared and pissed if my mum got them. Mainly because she doesn't know how to be a parent. She doesn't make healthy dinners for us, she doesn't know how to handle money, she's manipulative as hell. My sister sided with my mum, which broke me, and my brother chose my dad. I think because he knew I was going to be with my dad. My little brother has told me before that he wishes I was his mum, and he still does, which is something I never wanted to hear, but it's something that would change how I look at my mum forever. The absolute entitled part of this is that my mum believes that because she is a mum that she deserves me and my siblings. She puts her problems above my dad's and my siblings above hers because she's the mum and she's the adult woman of the house. I never thought of my mum as a selfish person until my mum was talking to me about my dad, and she asked a question that I genuinely didn't understand. She asked me, why does dad seem so depressed and angry? His problems aren't even that serious. What do you think, Curious Lettuce? I was thrown back, and after all she's done to my dad, I finally let everything I held back on her. Maybe it's because the entire time he's been trying to divorce you, you've been manipulative, selfish, fully convinced you deserve the kiss despite never making a healthy meal, turned everyone around you against him, and had made your own child wish I was his mother. She got mad, and I went to bed. The thing that makes me beyond mad is that my mum eventually made my dad not file for divorce, and she's been even worse than she was before. My dad is even more depressed, and sad, and angry. My brother is lonely, my sister is fully convinced that my dad is a jerk and a bad parent. My mum is fully convinced that my dad has to do everything while she sits around getting drunk and cheating on my dad with her clients at work. I'm at my breaking point as well. I've been trying to take care of my brother and sister at the same time, while my dad gives my mum attention. Next year I'll be graduating and going to college. In a couple of days, my mum is moving all of us 6 hours away from everything that's kept me and my dad sane. I plan on cutting her off completely and only keep in contact with the people I know won't tear me down or take my money. My mum has told me many times once I get a job and go to college that I have to send her money for everything she's done for me, which is nothing. I can no longer say that I love my mum, and I can't keep pretending I do, because I don't, and I won't. This entire situation keeps getting worse because my dad is trying his hardest to please my mum so she doesn't lash out on me and my siblings while I'm also taking care of my siblings. If you're ever in a situation like this, I just want to know you deserve better and that no one is entitled to you or your money. Damn, the whole doctor thing though, I thought there's like doctor confidentiality. I know that's definitely a thing in the UK. I'm assuming it's the same thing in the US. You can't just go in and say, so what's wrong with my siblings or something like that. But what a situation to be. Oh, why are people like this? Like with your own kids, man, you must be able to see that you're destroying your own family by the way you're acting. So sad, these situations, man. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed these stories, and if you did, please consider to hit that like, that subscribe and that notification bell, as I always say, it massively helps our channel out, and one day I hope to grow this channel. We shall see though, we shall see. Thank you for being here, thank you for the time out of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Much love now.